Welcome to our channel, Everything You Believe. World War II has been the most dreaded period in the history of mankind. From this one war, many cities like London, Tokyo, Hamburg, Berlin were completely destroyed. Today, almost all geopolitical events and international relations can be tracked back. In this today's video, let us understand it in depth. What exactly happened from beginning to end? Why did it happen and what was its impact? This is the complete story of World War II.
Ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe.
It is difficult to track down one single event that sparked the conflict, for ultimately it was a series of events that conspired together to eventually light the flame of war.
The world's most hated treaty, the Treaty of Versailles, thus starting World War II in 1939.
The whole world is.
Let's start our story from the year 1919. This was the year in which World War I ended and a famous piece of treaty would be signed, which is called the Treaty of Versailles. There was a very important clause in this treaty, Article 231, in which it was written that Germany was to bear the responsible for all the losses caused by World War I. This clause is also called War Guilt Clause, because basically it was trying to imply that regardless of the countries participating in the war, it was only Germans' fault. Actually, France and Britain wanted Germany to pay a heavy cost for losing this war, and they wanted to compensate all their losses from Germany. The result was that according to the Treaty of Versailles, Germany was asked to pay a fine of $33 billion to other countries. This is $270 billion in today's money. This is so much money that you not believe the Germans made the last payment of this money in the year 2010. It took almost 100 years, and you might wonder where this money comes from. Obviously coming from the country, coming from the public. The first payment of this money is made by Germany in the year 1921, and immediately after severe hyperinflation is seen in Germany. The currency of Germany at that time was German mark. It devalues so fast that you won't believe. In the year 1922, the cost of a packet of bread in Berlin was 160 marks. Next year in 1923, the cost of a packet of this bread will be 200 billion marks. It is obvious that the economy was destroyed and unemployment started increasing rapidly. In such circumstances, Adolf Hitler enters our story, a young political leader who knew very well how to fool the public through his speech. In the year 1923, Hitler's Nazi party tries to overthrow the German government by conducting a coup. Although these attempts fail, Hitler's popularity increases among the people because of this. Rumors are spread among the people about the embarrassment faced by Germany. This international insult to Germany has happened because of the anti-national elements living in the country. People were very upset. It was easy to manipulate them. Hitler says that it is their fault that Jews and socialists are starting to live in the country. Because of this, Germans' names were brought into dispute. In the next 10 years, propaganda was used extensively, media was bought, inflammatory speeches were seen. Great Depression is also seen in 1929, due to which the situation of unemployment became worse. In 1933, 6 million people were unemployed in Germany. Many people became homeless. Children are dying due to hunger. As a result, in the year 1933, Hitler declared himself the dictator of Germany. After taking full control into his hands, Hitler set out to fulfill his German empire dream, a German Reich, a state which will be racially pure. Only people of Aryan race will live here. There is no place here for Jews and Slavic people. To create hatred among the people, a conspiracy theory of Judeo-Bolshevism is created. According to this conspiracy theory, the Russian Revolution that took place in the year 1917 was actually carried out by the Jews, due to which the Soviet Union was formed. In the year 1935, the world came to know that Germany had its own air force. This might not seem like a big deal to you. Every country has its own air force. But friends, this condition was written in the Treaty of Versailles that Germany cannot have any military power of its own. This was violating the Hitler. Treaty of Versailles is a very open manner, but at this point of time, many people in Britain felt that the Treaty of Versailles which was written was very unfair to Germany, and we were charging them so much money, and the country was not even allowed to have military, and people considered it to be very demanding. In the year 1935, Britain signs the Anglo-German Naval Agreement. Under this, it is formally recognized that Hitler has the right to create his own navy. Germany can have a navy of its own, but seeing the increasing militarization of Germany, France became alert. France builds a 450-kilometer long fortification on its eastern border. This is called the Maginot Line. In the year 1938, when Hitler feels that his military has been sufficiently prepared, he takes his first look at the neighboring country of Austria. The country of Austria was a must-have country for Hitler. He wanted them. All the German-speaking countries were shutting down the same country. The real objective here was not only to capture other countries for our pride, but also to use the resource of other countries to progress our country. Those people whom Hitler considered racially superior, people of his Aryan race, he wanted to give them a round of living and living space so that they could live freely. In February 1938, Hitler meets Austrian Chancellor Kurt Schuschnigg. An agreement is made to be signed by force. Under this agreement, Hitler gives place to pro-Nazi and people in the Austrian government. The Austrian government is infiltrated by appointing its own people. For example, Dr. Hans Fischbach. He was made the new finance minister of Austria. He was a Nazi and he would have released all the other Nazis kept in jail from jail. Within months, things were out of control. The Austrian Chancellor feels that if we really have to stop infiltration, people needed to be consulted first. Thus, Austria wants to remain an independent country or become one country along with the Nazis. A national vote should be conducted on this matter. As soon as Hitler gives the news of national vote, he immediately takes his army and marches into Austria. The German military enters the city of Vienna. The Austrian Chancellor did not want any bloodshed, so he resigned from his seat. Hitler spreads fake news through his propaganda ministry that riots are taking place in Vienna and how the communist was responsible for the riots. That's why the Austrian government has called German army so that we can protect the country. Then very next day, the Austrian parliament is dissolved and Austria is no longer an independent country. The invasion is successful without any bloodshed. A major reason behind this was that at this time there were many people in Austria who were actually in favor of Hitler because he too had become a victim of propaganda. He felt that Hitler's invasion was a good thing. The country will become a superpower in this way. After occupying Austria, Hitler looks at the next country on Czechoslovakia's border. There was the region Sudetenland of the people living here. Around 3 million were Germans. Hitler uses this point as an excuse, saying that this region should definitely be ours because Germans live here. Here is the entry in our story that the British Prime Minister, Neville Chamberlain, He wanted to avoid war under any circumstances. They thought that if we give Hitler what he is asking for, he will sit quietly and there will be no war. For this reason, a unique agreement is signed in September 1938.
The settlement of the Czechoslovakian problem, which has now been achieved, is, in my view, only the prelude to a larger settlement in which all Europe may find peace.
Under this agreement, this region of Sudetenland was given to Germany. But from the other side, Hitler will promise that there will be no war. Hitler gladly took this piece of Czechoslovakian land, but it does not take even a year to break this Munich agreement. March 1939, Hitler took his army to invade the rest Czechoslovakia. For the first time, there is a little fight here, but the German army wins it very easily and the country is split into two. One part of the country is included in a German territory and the other is made a Nazi client state. A puppet government is formed named Slovak Republic. British Prime Minister Chamberlain faced lot of criticism because of this. Winston Churchill famously said, "You were given the choice between war and dishonor. You choose dishonor and you will have war." Hitler now sets his sights on the next country, which is Poland. To capture Poland, Hitler cleverly signs a non-aggressive pact with the Soviet Union in the year 1939. On the surface, it would seem that Hitler hated the Soviet Union and communism. So, how did he do this? The only reason behind this was to invade Poland. The Soviet Union also wanted a part of Poland. So, in this situation, the interests of both the countries met each other. 1st September 1939, about 1 million German troops start moving towards Poland. They are planning to attack from both north and south. At this time, the rest of the country is surprised to see UK and France feels that this is getting worse. If in this manner Hitler captures one country after another, if it goes, our next number will also come. What will happen to the world? Friends, let's see in the part 2 video in detail. Thank you very much.